is fair market value? Well, the appraisers define fair market value as what a willing buyer and a willing seller are able to agree upon, neither one acting under duress, with a reasonable knowledge of market conditions. Now, reasonable knowledge is key here because you could purchase a property and not have knowledge of some things that would be key determinants of value. So, for instance, someone who would be buying a vacant office building to convert it to apartments. And perhaps the zoning allows for that use, but the buyer does not realize that a conversion from office into apartments or any other kind of conversion may trigger code regulations that are going to cost them a lot of money. So case in point, converting from office to apartments is very possible that you might need to install a sprinkler system, which can be a very expensive item. So having key market knowledge is a component of value that is very crucial. And secondly, the market value can really change dynamically over time. So I've seen a lot of appraisals that happened where the appraisal might say, hey, the property's worth this, but when you take it to market, the market says, after it's been exposed to the market, it's not worth that, it's worth less, or it's worth more, because those market dynamics are forward-facing, while an appraisal is backwards-facing based on historical data. So over the course of the past year, this has really come to mind quite frequently for me, because I have a lot of people who say, well, what did the comps say? But the comps from the past year, when interest rates were half of what they are now, are not really a fair component of value for apartments or income producing property anymore, because the interest rate has such a heavy bearing on investment sales. So even though a property might have transferred a year ago at a certain price, does not mean it's worth the same value today. And especially if there's been any sales where there's been assumable financing or a 1031 buyer, some of those factors can really heavily affect value one way or the other. And so the past year has really been an interesting time to try and value income producing property, as we've rapidly changed interest rates and those comparables are no longer quite as telling. So if you have some questions on fair market value for your investment property here in Central Pennsylvania, please reach out. We're always happy to help.